But as we transition, so the past few days, we have seen some members of parliament speaking against what is contained in the Finance Act of 2023. One member of parliament has said this. Watch.
We are telling the government we are not going to pay that avocado taxes. If the government want to help the avocado farmers, what the government needs to do is to subsidize the avocado farmer. Subsidizing means you help the farmer. Subsidizing means you uplift the farmer. It doesn't mean you kill the farmer, and we have said and we refuse for our farmers to be killed by these taxes. Iyo maneno tumekataa kabisa.
Okay, that's the member of parliament for Kandara constituency. Let's listen to the farmers, what they said, because apparently there are some carry officials that were there sensitizing the farmers on what is supposed to be happening in the question of taxation.
Sisi kutoka wakati wa kale hii hatujawahi kusikia, na kulingana na ile vile ekonomi yetu iko, tungelitaka serikali itusikilize na ituelewe ya kwamba hii sio wakati wa kuua yule mtu ako on ground. Wale wakubwa wakilipizwa tukatai, wale wenye biashara, lakini wale wakulima hasa jukumu ya serikali ni kuwasaidia na fertilizer, kuwasaidia na teknolojia, kuwapatia resources ambayo watasomeshwa, wajue ni magonjwa gani avocado zao ziko nazo, ili si kuja kuwafinyilia kuambia walipe kodi. Hii si haki.
Ambayo imetengenezwa na system ambayo inaitwa ETS. Na sio wewe peke yako inakuguza kama mkulima wa avocado. Inaguza watu ama wakulima aina tofauti tofauti, na hata wale ambao wanafanya kazi kidogo, wale tunaita mama mboga.
All right. Speaking last, there is a carry official who was sensitizing the farmers in that area, but the deputy president has also spoken, and this is what he said.
Hii maneno ya kodi imeletwa pale, iko sheria iliudwa pale bunge, tumeona iko na dosari kiasi ya kutaka wakulima ya makadamia nini waanze kutoswa. Hiyo maneno tutaketi chini, tumeongea na rais jana na waziri wa hazina, tutatafuta suluhisho, tutaongea na hao bunge wetu, kwa sababu hatuwezi kusaidia mkulima na mkono moja tumuumize na ile mkono mwingine, si ndio?
So, Honorable Andeto,
yes.
What are we dealing with here?
I think the issue that has come up is, the requirements, I don't know, about farmers to produce e-teams invoices, and I think that's what the MP for Kandara was alluding to. And Sam, yesterday I took time to actually call the chairman of KRA, because he's a person I happen to know, just to get clarifications on this. And I think there's some information here that is being twisted or not coming out clear. While it is important to broaden the tax base, I think one of the principles of taxation is that taxation must be very, very easy. It will be unfair to ask the milk farmers out there, the pastoralists, and anyone trying to sell their produce out there in the market to produce e-teams invoices. It is even difficult today, even for small businesses, to comply with that, the cost of the machines and things like that. And what I got is that there is no such requirement in law. What basically, the people who are required to produce tax invoices are the buyers. The people the traders, the buyers who are dealing with avocado, not the farmer. So it is after the thing has left the farm gate, any other transactions going, upstream, to the markets and to the export markets. That is where these provisions is kicking in. And Sam, we are talking all the time about broadening the tax base, and it is very important that we bring all these sectors of the economy, but we are not going down to the farmer. No one is asking a farmer to produce an invoice. The farmer will deliver his avocados for 20 shillings a piece, but now the guy who picks that up and brings them maybe to the big companies that do the export or do the export directly, that will be the person who will be required to deal with the taxation of these. And
what taxes that they'll be paying?
Obviously, just like any other produce, some of these things are vatable. So they attract a VAT, you know, they could attract different levies, you know, that are required for purpose of export. And also, you are bringing those transactions into you know, the tax base so that they can be counted as part of his turnover when he's declaring his income tax, if it's an SME. Yeah. So the whole thing of e-teams, you know, if you are aware, is to ensure that from day one, as we record our transactions, because it is one thing for me to trade, and then later I come and tell the government, this is what I traded. We are all trying to say, let us from day one record all our transactions in one repository, so that if you tell me you sold $1 million shillings worth of goods, it is backed by some history. So
what is that? That carrier official speaking to farmers and telling them that it's not just them but everyone else. What is she talking about?
I do not know. Even me, I'm shocked, because what I got from the chairman is that there is no requirement that farmers will be able to give invoice. Maybe he's talking about cooperative societies, because if the cooperative society is, say, aggregating you know, a certain produce, and maybe it's one in charge of exporting it or taking it to the, you know, to the next person up the value chain, then there has to be, you know, tax documentation to that effect.
The cooperative.
Exactly.
That represents the farmers, no?
Yeah.
So who is that?
Because here the cooperative is acting as a seller. And even today, by the way, Sam...
If that understanding is wrong, then what is the Deputy President speaking about? Saying that there is a problem in the law and he has spoken to the National Treasury Cabinet Secretary.
Well, I have said I need to understand maybe what the Deputy President was referring to, but I think in principle what he was trying to say is that there will be no law that will be introduced or any policy that is seen to be hurting you know, farmers, okay? And that is very, very clear, because one of the things we want to do is to encourage you know, farmers to go back to the farms. You know, the government is trying to address the issues of the cost of inputs in a very big way, because we want as a country to be able to be sufficient in you know, food, and also to create you know, a good export base, because you know, a lot of our exports are actually agricultural based. So I think all we are trying to say is that we'll be, you know, we will have policies that are pro, you know, the farmer, and not policies that are meant to, you know, to basically oppress the farmer.
Okay. Sorry, I'll get to you.
You see, my brother here is having a very difficult time explaining what this policy or this tax regime is all about, because of the problem of delegating his own primary functions of drafting legislation, passing laws, to another arm of government. My brother cannot say what exactly is going to happen, because even that law is brought in by the executive. The day we change and we focus on our own primary roles is the day that we can be able to explain to the citizens who have elected us, who have given us an opportunity to come and represent them. And that is when representation will mean something. Taxing farmers is flogging a dead horse. It's an effort in futility. There is absolutely no way a farmer who has got like maybe 20 fruits can be able to produce an e-teams. You know, sometimes we behave as if we live in a, you know, in the future. Yet we are living currently where, you know, if you look at the way other people live, they don't even have a mobile phone, leave alone having an e-teams account. So I think we need to be very clear here, and we need to represent our people. We will not allow. This issue of avocado taxes is the same as the issue of taxing pastoralists. How are you going to ask a Masai or a Turkana, how many cows do you have to have? From today on, you know, my uncle here has got a lot of camels. So you count like 20 camels, you tell him, each camel you have to pay X amount for taxes. I mean, seriously. You know, what nonsense is this? You know, we need to be, you know, very careful, because if we are not careful, there'll be a very serious revolution. One, it will be led by farmers, who will be from Mount Kenya region. Number two, it will be led by pastoralists, who will be from all over the country, because pastoralists are all over the country. And you will not have a country to manage, leave alone what is happening now in Haiti. This one will be a disaster. So the truth of the matter is that farmers are crying. You are taxing their inputs. And then when it comes to outputs, there is no market. You know, they are now struggling too. You cannot say, and I agree with Deputy President Gachagua, you know, there is a problem there, iko dosari hapo hivyo. You know, I think this guy is going to be my new friend now. Iko dosari hapo hivyo. You know, we cannot allow that to happen. You know, we have got to protect our farmers and make sure that at least we allow them to be able to, you know, at least get to the level of where other people are. You know, this country has got two serious problems. One, if you look at even the issue of the Equalization, Act, you know, or the marginalization concept of trying to uplift other people who are marginalized. Now, the people who are not marginalized are the ones who are now saying, even us, we want a share of that. So this issue of taxation, it is something which is going to really destroy this country. You know,
but some have just clarified.
Sorry,
the senator is.
I think
there will be teams for farmers.
Yes,
we have just said
yes,
there is no such requirement.
Boss, you can't explain because you are not the one writing that law.
Okay.
How do you call? Sam, how does he call a chairman? Yet he's the one. Because you are seeking a clarification, and you are the one who is responsible
we saw some
to drafting legislation.
We saw some care rape.
No, you should be able to tell. You should take the law and read.
Because I understood that there isn't. I was just trying to get a clarification.
Sorry. Senator Aaron Chambers,
now
majority of the Senate said that this is on X. All farmers are equal. My tea farmers pay all their due taxes and levies, tens of billions annually. What is special about these farmers we are being told shouldn't be taxed? It's free lunch for all of us, or we all pay. No special meals.
No such thing as free lunch.
To some. But what is the truth?
First of all, I think we are mixing too many things, and we are applying a lot of generalities on issues that require specific answers. Laws are passed, and laws are not static. They are made by human beings. They have mistakes, grammatical, typos, legislative. So the fact that somebody has raised, and a particular member of parliament has raised a problem with domestication of a particular law that was passed, that particular member of parliament is perfectly in order. Two, the work of member of parliament actually is to lobby for the interest of his electorate. To that extent, that member is also perfectly in order. But equally, we must also accept that taxation is governed by a complex regime of laws and regulations, which requires knowledge and information to even apply and domesticate. So the fact that these members, and then remember right now, the government is now expanding, and which is right, which all of us, everybody must pay tax. Everybody must pay tax within the confines of the law. So for me, what is being blown out of proportion is something that I see as legitimate. Legitimate to excellence. Maybe this farmer does not understand. They were not paying. There was no provision for taxation on that particular product. This is the first time that they interact with the taxman. They have every right to ask for further clarification on the same. So the fact that right now we have a vibrant social media and one member has raised this for the public gallery is not a matter of immense national concern. That issue will be addressed. If there was a lacuna within the law, in the passage of the taxation law, every day, next week, somebody can bring an amendment. I don't see that as a problem. So what I am persuaded to do, and this is why we are saying we as members of parliament, as the representative of the people, we should always be ready. If we find a particular implementation of a certain thing as a problem, instead of that applying that generalities, that this is wrong, like my two friends are politicking, we'll deal with that specific issue. So I'll be urging that member who raised this issue to interact with the law.
Okay.
If it is 100% unconstitutional, untenable, or cannot be applied, he has every right to bring it so that it conforms with what is practically possible.
Okay.
But for us just to condemn here, we say, for us just to stand here and say the taxes have a problem without being specific, I think, honestly...
Section 23A...
I'm concluding. It defeats sense. Generally, tax issues are very emotive. If you go to certain countries, taxation mistakes or penalties attract the highest. I mean, taxation problems attract the highest penalties actually in some of these developed countries. So let's deal with this issue. Don't condemn everything. I know you as a cow, as a pastoralist, just like...
That you have a cow, yes. You know, when you listen to my uncle speaks, sometimes he forgets. You know, I was listening to your submissions and I was loving it. And then at the conclusion, he says something completely different.
I'm saying.
Don't condemn everything.
No, I'm not condemning.
At one member.
No. You as a pastoralist, I'm also a pastoralist. There are certain things right now, for the first time, we will be interacting with.
And you will not agree to be taxed for camels, will you?
If it is implementable, we'll agree.
Do you pay tax on your...
Camels, yes, we do pay. No, because where do you sell the camels are sold, they're exported to Saudi Arabia. When they pass through the port of Mombasa or Lamu, somebody must pay tax. If we do it through the abattoirs here,
You don't.
When you're selling as a farmer, do you pay tax?
Yes.
No, you don't.
Just like I know where you come from, Mokweni. Just like the goods that you order, you pay taxes.
So can I have an opinion?
Everybody.
Wait a minute. Section 23 of the Finance Act of 2020.
We all pay taxes. That's the reality. Everybody takes to the extent of your product.
I don't want to personalize this because I was going to ask you how much tax you paid for the previous year, but I won't. The commissioner may establish an electronic system through which electronic tax invoices may be issued and records of stocks kept for the purpose of this act. A person who carries on business shall issue an electronic tax invoice through the systems established under subsection 1 and maintain a record of stocks in the system established under that subsection. But of course, there's a provision that the cabinet secretary may exempt. The commissioner may, by notice in the Gazette, exempt a person from the requirements of this section. So, I mean, it boils down to the definition of a business. And farming is also a business. So I don't think it's out of context. But this is an act of parliament that was passed by parliament, including these members here at the National Assembly.
I just told you,
not at the
they have
Senate.
Delegated it. So he doesn't even know what he's passing.
Can I have an opinion on this?
Exactly, that's what I'm coming to you. Like, what should you make of this at a time that now members of parliament have to call the chairperson of the KRA for explanation, yet it's an act that they pass?
So let me just say this.
Please, Senator.
First of all, I really sympathize with people who are in bed with this government, whether the lights are on or not. Completely. Because it's so difficult for them to actually explain anything rational that the government is doing. To be honest, you could see how they're
Can you say that again?
Yes. It's so difficult for them to actually be able even to convince anybody. You know, first of all, with all due respect, we are dealing with a situation in our country where unemployment is almost at what, 70% now?
Yes.
70% unemployment. So if you are dealing with a country that 70% of the people are unemployed, and you are imposing taxation on them, actually not taxation, over taxation, almost on everything, on them, okay? You know, one of the problems that the government and the sympathizers are not getting right, taxation or over-taxation of a people will never develop an economy, develop a country. It's only industrialization or production that will actually develop a country. And that, of course, goes into the heart of how are we being governed in this country. We are being governed by people who are increasingly becoming pathological liars. And you can see how Mheshimiwa Kenani cannot even explain whether he is paying taxes for his camels from Wajer.
Honestly, was that really, my brother? Was that really the discussion?
But
I said everybody pays taxes.
You are asked a straight question by
just like the Turkana Hada, your uncles, where you come, the Somali Hada also pays taxes.
No, but see, some.
But no, let's respond to facts. No, my brother. You know, I really respect you.
Allow him to.
I really respect you.
Sam's question was very.
I will use the word don't lie to the Kenyan. That's not what I said. Everybody pays taxes.
Actually, if there is anybody who is lying to Kenyans here, it's people who are sympathizers in government. Like my elder here, Kenan and Wandeto.
But we say the plain truth.
Daktari has just lied to Kenyans about unemployment rate. It is not 70%.
So
can he start by correcting his lie first?
It's here. The official unemployment rate is.
I mean, if it was 70% in this country, I don't know.
Unemployment official. No, let me just.
When was one of those
so correct yourself first, and then now you accuse others.
It is between 12 to 20%.
When? Why? Are you kidding me?
Yes. Google.
Which country do you live in? At the 12%.
Yeah.
So you want to tell me when you go to Mandara or Wajir?
Unemployment rate. You know, you're not talking about formal. Let me educate you on this.
Sam, you know, your show is being watched internationally, actually. I mean, including the subject we had earlier. But it's unfortunate that we have members of parliament here, some my senior here and my brother Wandeto, actually can lie on national television. Please, let's have some decorum and let's just tell Kenyans the truth. You know very well, even saizi, fungua WhatsApp yako. I know how many Kenyans, thousands, are actually asking you for, mchango sijui ya hospitali, school, transport and all that. That tells you that something economically is not right in our country. So let's speak the truth here. The situation in the country economically is not right. And relating to this question of taxation, how do you tax people who are not able to produce, who are not employed. That's a...
So let me ask you this, because I'm looking at the frequently asked questions about e-teams, and this is on the website of KRA. They're saying that as per public notice issued by KRA in December 2023, the electronic tax invoicing for non-VAT registered persons, KRA wishes to remind the public that all persons carrying on business, including those who are not registered for VAT, are required to electronically generate and transmit their invoices to KRA via the e-teams, a system from the 1st of September 2023.
You know, I like that. That's an ideal situation. It's not the reality on the ground. My brother Kenan here will tell you that the camel herder in Wajir or Mandera in northern Kenya, the cow herder in Turkana, Narok, first of all, do not have access to technology that will be able to enable them to actually generate the heat. The president himself has been lying to Kenyans that, President William Ruto, just for the avoidance of doubt, has been lying to Kenyans that in every ward in this country, there will be
free internet.
Free internet. So how about we start from there first, Sam? Can we then ensure there is free internet and accessible internet in every ward?
Sorry, you said it's a lie. Where's the lie?
Because it's not...
But my brother here says everybody lies, except him.
Sorry,
the president lies, the member of parliament lies.
Have some
I think it's unparliamentary. Let's use a bit of...
That he has been...
Let's use civility.
Dr. Kenan, please.
A bit of civility.
Dr. Okot.
Criticize the president.
Practice what you preach.
Yes.
Honorable Kenan, please, can I just ask the question?
Yes.
Dr. Okot, you said that the president has been lying there will be free internet in the constituencies, in the wards.
It's true.
But there will be. Maybe there will be.
When? Can I tell? Okay, fine. Now that you brought that question,
Semantics.
I'll be happy to explain. The ICT committee.
Sorry.
Just give me a second.
You can't lie about something that may happen.
Let's go back to 2013.
Sorry, don't take me there.
I will.
I've asked you a question.
Because I want to justify what I'm saying.
Which is?
Which is that this country has been lied to for the longest time. From 2013, when William Ruto and Uhuru Kenyatta then were saying to Kenyans that you will have a laptop, each child will have a laptop in this country, meaning, therefore, there will be connectivity, internet connectivity.
So
almost.
You want to judge everything the president says based on what happened in the past?
But I'm sorry, Sam, but for me as a lawyer, context is everything.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
So I'm asking you a question. If every business, and every business means every business that has an income or it's trading, they have to be subjected to e-teams, what does that entail? What is your definition of that?
I agree. Yeah. That is the ideal situation. Yeah? That's the ideal situation. But for you to enable that, the reason I'm saying the president has been lying and the government has been lying because they have promised Kenyans connectivity. So, for example, today, if you have a Mulika Mwizi phone, are you able to access internet or WhatsApp? Or for you to be able to actually generate e-teams? Because that is technologically enabled. That's a reality, Sam. And unless you create that enabling environment, for you to be able to widen the tax base, as Mheshimiwa Wandeto is saying, then you have to put certain infrastructural measures in place. Without that, all this is just stories of jabba, as people say on the streets.
Do you want to say that in English?
I don't know how to.
And Sam, there are three things, and I think it's good we be honest to Kenyans. And in this country, we say we don't want to borrow. Everybody is against borrowing, okay? If it was a subject of debt, our two friends here would be bashing the government, I don't know, for borrowing this, for over-borrowing, whatever. Then we say the alternative is widen the tax base so that people can pay taxes. Again, we say we don't want to pay taxes. In the same sentence, we say we want roads, we want water, we want food, we don't want this. I think there are just some words that cannot all coexist.
Can we first manage what we have?
So I think it is important that when we come to this show, that we are balanced, that we are able to give suggestions and information that at least can be able to move this country forward. I think what we are seeing is opposition for the sake of opposing, what we are seeing is, people just, we oppose anything. Just, I don't know whether it's our way of keeping ourselves busy or we really have this country at heart.
You say that for us to stop the borrowing, what must happen?
I mean, I said, you either borrow. How do you raise your money? You either tax people or you borrow. So today we are saying, don't borrow.
But I just
borrow too much. Then we say, then in the same sentence we say, no, we don't want to pay taxes. Then in the same sentence we say we want development. What I'm trying to say, Sam,
you're confusing me. Because first of all, you said that you spoke to the KRA chairperson who said that it is not true that farmers will be subjected to paying tax.
No, to generating tax invoices. That will be done by the cooperatives and the traders upstream.
So how will farmers pay tax?
Farmers will not pay tax because, listen to me. They will not pay tax as they sell their produce. But every Kenyan who has a PIN at the end of the year is required by law to say how much did I generate, whether you are a farmer, a pastoralist, a businessman, and whatever. That is common in taxation, so long as you have a PIN. You go sit down and say, this year I sold the following, okay? And I spent the following.
And
this is my profit.
That includes farmers.
That includes everyone with a PIN. So long as you have a PIN in this country, that has been happening. That's not new.
Sorry.
And those taxpayers are farmers, they are pastoralists, everyone.
So farmers have KRA PINs.
Yes.
How are they going to pay tax?
Through their end of year declarations, which they already do. Some today, on 30th of June.
Sorry, when they do the declaration, how do they eventually pay tax?
How do you do that today? And that's what I'm trying to explain. On 30th of June or before that, you're supposed to declare your income, you're supposed to declare your expenses, and whatever profit you get, there is an income tax rate that applies to a business or an individual, and you're supposed to pay that tax. That has been happening even today.
You're supposed to pay. So I'm asking a specific question.
Yes.
So you have a farmer here.
Yeah.
They have cattle or livestock. They also farm coffee. They take produce to the farm or whatever, to the market or whatever. So at the end of the year, how do they pay tax for that?
How they pay tax for that, Sam, and I think I'm just going to repeat what I've just said, is that once you declare your income, your farming income, you're supposed to pay tax on your farming income as you do your end of year declarations. And you pay that either via M-Pesa, you pay that via check, depending on the amount. The KRA has...
Or that is what they're supposed to do?
They already do pay.
We're mixing.
Farmers in Tetu pay tax on their coffee.
Already today, there are levies levied on coffee and tea. But that one is upstream. That one is upstream by the cooperatives and the people who deal with the tea trading, because there are certain levies and taxes that they pay, the KTDs and the rest. Okay? But I'm trying to say, at individual level, all your income, whether it's farming income, dividend income, business income, employment income, the requirement of the law is that you're supposed to aggregate all that income, remove the allowable expenses and pay tax.
And the farmers intend to do that?
I cannot say how many do that, but it is a requirement of the law. Whether they are doing that today or whether they are just filing new returns, I don't think that is what we are
I'm concerned that you're saying that we have to widen the tax base. Yeah. Everyone has to pay tax so that we stop borrowing.
Exactly.
If farmers are not able to do that, how then does KRA come up with tax administration measures to ensure that that is happening, if it is the requirement of the law?
And that's what
actually, it's not the work of KRA to come up with acceptable tax regulation measures. It is Parliament. I think you need to. KRA only implements the laws that are passed by Parliament. So it's not KRA that designs its own laws. No, KRA actually is the end user.
So how is KRA supposed to make sure that happens? They are the enforcing authority.
They are the enforcing authority. Yeah. It is a requirement of the law every year that you must be able to submit your annual tax return.
My brother, the way the law works, and I think this is something that we are trying to start. The law works. This is the process. Parliament is the only entity that has the force of law to come up with, to legislate.
Yep.
Okay? KRA uses the laws or regulations passed by Parliament. If for whatever reason there is a problem with the domestication of that particular problem, individuals pick. You can either pick as an individual member of Parliament, KRA can propose, or the government itself can also propose and come up with measures that can smoothen that particular pitch so that
Okay.
Taxation. You see,
I hear
taxation mechanisms are very emotive.
Can I please weigh in?
I really have a burning issue.
I hear and understand what you're saying. But Senator Ledam, we need to close. Specifically on that question,
Yes.
because if everyone is to pay tax for the income they generate, because it is very easy for the salaried Kenyans, it is at the end of the month, including yourself, you'll be taxed based on aggregated scale.
Yes.
How about the other businesses, including farmers, who actually have an income?
Let me put it this way. I think what my brother, to be fair to him, was trying to explain.
Yeah.
But because he's very careful with his words, he does not want to be clear that, or to come out clearly and say, this is utopian. What he's trying to explain is that there is a need for KRA to carry out tax education, to educate the citizens of Kenya, so that slowly by slowly, you know, the government will be able to widen the tax base. So I think what KRA ought to do is this. What is written on paper is not always the practical, or what is practical out there. What KRA ought to do is to start tax education, educating the farmers. As we do that, we also have to ensure that we create an enabling environment. The biggest problem we have currently is that even the resources which are available are not being managed effectively. Whatever is collected, a lot of it is being siphoned. If you look at our county governments, yesterday, citizen ran a story and said that my county of Narok was leading in development. That is not the case. The controller budget cannot be able to state that a country is leading in development. The controller budget will only present facts and say, this is how much money has been withdrawn by county X. It is now upon the Auditor General to be able to go on the ground and verify. So what my brother ought to do here is to say, the farmers are being asked to pay taxes. First of all, do they understand this animal called taxation? Yet, they have no road to be able to ferry their goods from the market. Number two, do they understand this animal called taxation? Yet, when they go to the hospital, they are being taxed for everything, but they cannot get drugs. So the key most important thing, and this is what the Commissioner of Revenue has to do, he has got to initiate, with these new employees that he has employed, he has got to first of all train them for 6 months, allow them to go to the ground, try to create even tax centers and say, these farmers, work with cooperatives and tell the cooperatives, okay, there is a tax that we need to pay here. How do we pay these taxes? If we have to pay income tax, and since nobody has the technology, bring people together, educate them first. You know,
I think my brother has dominated this. Sam, 1 second on this. 1 second on this. Something that you need to know.
Take the feedback.
Okay, something that
in Kenya, at some Gichoko, the hashtag uses
I've dominated because I'm speaking sense.
On what's going on. Kenyans are saying that Tokelo Molimo, it's now clear that most of MPs who voted yes on Finance Act did so without opening a single page of the bill. They therefore couldn't know the struggles the electorate could undergo to fund the act. Having been updated by the same electorates, they now lead protests. Dombori, you're saying that the Kenya Kwanza government's enthusiastic pursuit of introducing a multitude of new initiatives simultaneously may be admirable in its ambition, but the challenge lies in the feasibility of attaining such an array of goals concurrently. Peter Gesura, you're saying that these taxes imposed daily to Kenyans daily are too much. Let the government go slow on this. So sad. And the lack of legitimate government in Haiti is a good reason why they urgently need a stabilizing force to restore order and rule of law to allow them elect a legitimate government. That is Barsi. Babu Michael, you said that the legality of the Haitian Prime Minister is very key here. If in case he is in office illegally, which may be the case, then even the crucial documents he may be signing are automatically null and void. This Haiti mission is a very, very tricky one. That's Babu Michael. Leonard, you're saying that unless the president has a personal gain in this question of Haiti, I would have advised that we suspend our national forces from going to Haiti. I personally questioned a few police officers. They are not ready for this, completely unwilling. Let the president listen to the court. And Engineer Lazario said that so far Haiti volatile situation requires urgent deployment of rapid intervention of force or political solutions, not police officers. Manual training for police and equipment equipment limit them to deal with our internal affairs only. Now, I wish I had more time for the final word from Dr. Okot, but I do not have an extra.
1 second.
A second then.
1 second.
It's over.
On this question of taxation,
the second was mine.
Sam, on this question of taxation,
Yeah.
there's a very fundamental issue. I mean, I'll just say it generally. Taxing citizens of any country is not a bad idea. But how do you also prudently use those taxes? And I will refer Kenyans to Article 201, the Constitution of Kenya. This is about public funds. Somebody has just sent me a question to say, yes, okay, we can collect taxes, but how do you, for example, use 700 million to
renovate the State House?
I think my brother...
Accountability.
My brother...
I mean, are you building a new facility?
My brother...
Okay, all right. We'll have time for another discussion because this is quite an emotive topic, as you can see.
You should be giving us 2 hours, man, on this. These topics are very...
Next time, Dr. Okot will begin at 6 a.m. Something that Senator Ledama Olekina said, that farmers should be given an opportunity to be trained, sensitized. But when taxes are reviewed, housing levy is introduced, a new tax band is introduced, it's implemented immediately. Principles of taxation, including equality, fairness, and so many more that I'm sure Honorable Ndeto knows. We'll have a discussion about that some other day. This has been Daybreak. Up next is Sporting Monday. They'll be here to tell you about the Manchester Derby, why Manchester is blue, and the possible show-off likely tonight by Arsenal. My name is Sam Gituku. Bye for now.